Good morning, CES first graders. I am so happy to see you guys today. It is day 3 of week 5, and we're going to go ahead and get started on our distance learning for today. Let's look at our magnificent high frequency words. Remember, these are words that you need to know within the 3 seconds to be considered mastered. But if you can learn them within a snap, that would be great, because these are words that you're constantly going to see in all of your writings, in your readings, different books, passages that you'll see where you're comparing and two different passages or articles. So you will see all of these words. They're very, very important. So you need to know them in a snap. So let's look at these. These are part of list 10 and list 11, which we did not quite get covered in our regular classroom before all of this quarantine. So we're going to talk about list 10 and 11 for the remainder of the distance learning, but please go back and look at my website and look at lists 1 through 5 on that link and lists 6 through 11 on that link and practice all of them, because you need to know at least 80% of those words before you can go to second grade. Also look at those lists of ideas so that you can make learning fun as you practice these sight words. So let's look at them real quick as we do them together. First one is, what is it? Please. Spell it for me. Please. What's the word? Please. Next one. Thanks. Spell it for me. Thank. What's the word? Thank. Next one is, this can be live or it can be live. Spell it for me. Live. The word is live or live. Next one is together. Spell it for me. Together. What's the word? Together. Next one is laugh. Spell it for me. Laugh. What's the word? Laugh. Next one is because. Spell it for me. Because. What's the word? Because. Next one is wash. Spell it for me. Wash. What's the word? Wash. Next one is upon. Spell it for me. Upon. What's the word? Upon. Next one is clean. Spell it for me. Clean. What's the word? Clean. Very good. Again, practice these magnificent high frequency words so you know them in a snap. Let's look at our sound cards for this week. You have the short vowel U. We have Tubby the Tugboat. The title of it is Tug. And remember, when Tubby the Tugboat pulls those big, huge ships, he says, uh. And I know that I see a red letter there, so that means that it's a vowel. Very good. And I see a green box there and a green box here, so that tells me that it is a what kind of vowel? Short vowel. Awesome. All right, and then I also have the long vowel U. We have the capital U and the lowercase u. The title of it is long U, and I see red letters, okay? And I see a yellow box here and a yellow box here, so that tells me that it is a long vowel. And long vowels do what? Say their name. Good job. So I have the spelling U. I can have just U by itself that says long vowel U at the beginning, middle, and end, all 3 places. Then I have blank EW spelling. I see a black line there, so that tells me that a black letter or a consonant must go in that blank. And it can never come at the beginning because of the blank there. So blank EW can only come middle or end, never at the beginning. I have the U blank E. We know this. This is Super E, who jumps over the consonant building, black line, okay, black consonant, to make the vowel U say its name. And then it loses all of its power and it says nothing. So U blank E comes at the end and it makes the U say its name. Blank UE, just like blank EW, it has the blank at the beginning, so that means that a consonant has to go in that black line. And so it can never come at the beginning. Blank UE can only come middle or end. And that's it. Those are our spelling patterns for this week. Let's look at our spelling words again. And let's say them together and spell them. We have for the short U, tugboat, remember? We have the word jump. Spell it for me. J-U-M-P. What's the word? Jump. We also have spun. Spell it for me. S-P-U-N. What's the word? Spun. We also have plug. Spell it for me. P-L-U-G. What's the word? Plug. And we have hunt. Spell it for me. H-U-N-T. What's the word? Hunt. And the last one is drum. Spell it for me. D-R-U-M. What's the word? Drum. Remember the D-R, we adjust our pronunciation. That's the way we say the word to say dr, dr, dr. We don't say Durham. It is drum. DR says dr, 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 not JR. There is no word in the English language that says dr and it's JR. No word in the English language has JR. None. So DR, when you hear dr, it's always DR, adjusting our pronunciation to say dr, dr, dr. And all of these have what in common? Short vowel U, Tubby the tugboat. Very good. All right, let's look at our long vowel words. Long line over it. So it's a long vowel, says its name. Remember that. First one is music. Spell it for me. M-U-S-I-C. What's the word? Music. Can you look and see which spelling pattern is in music? Yes, just the U by itself, and it comes in the middle. Good job. Next word is human. Spell it. H-U-M-A-N. What's the word? Human. And if you look, what spelling pattern there? Again, just the U. And where does it come? In the middle. Good. Next word is prune. Spell it. P-R-U-N-E. What's the word? Prune. And if you look, what spelling pattern do you see? I see U blank E too. U blank E. Super E jumping over the consonant building N to make the U say its name. And then it loses its power, so it says nothing. Very good. Next one is, what's the word? Huge. Spell it for me. H-U-G-E. What's the word? Huge. What spelling pattern do you see there? U blank E again. Yes. Super E jumping over the consonant building G to make the U say its name, and then it loses its power and it says nothing. That E also has another special job. Do you remember? It also makes that G say J, J, J. Very good. Then we have the word use. We have U-S-E. What's the word? Use. And what is the special spelling there? U blank E again. Super E's jumping over the consonant building S to make the U say its name. Okay? And remember, sometimes S, when it comes at the end of a syllable or a word, that S can sometimes say Z, Z, as in this word. Use. Very good. All right, let's look at some words to sound and blend here using those spelling patterns. All right, first one, give me the sound. Next sound, short U. I'm going to put that over it to show you. Blend and hold. La. Sound. K. Blend. Luck. Say it fast. Luck. Very good. CK because there is a short vowel in front of it. Very good. What if I put this letter right here? What's my new word? Lucky. Remember that Y can sometimes become a vowel. That's why I wrote it in red. When it's black, it's a consonant and it says y, y, y. But when it's in red, it is a vowel, and that Y can be a vowel when it comes at the end of a word. When it comes at the end of a one-syllable word, it's going to say long vowel I. Clap lucky for me. Lucky. How many? two. Y, when it comes at the end of a two or more syllable word, is going to say long vowel E. Y at the end of one syllable says long vowel I. Y at the end of two or more says long vowel E. Very good. Next word, sound is J. Short U sound, blend and hold, J. Sound, blend, jump. Sound, blend, jump. Say it fast, jump. Very good, jump. What if I add ed to it? What does it make it now? Jumped. Very good. Remember, we talked about that ed right there? And we said that that ed is a suffix that comes at the end of a base word, and it makes the word be in what tense? Past tense. Means that I have what? Already done that, okay? So this makes it past tense. I've already done that. We also learned that that ed can have three sounds. It can make three different sounds at the end of base words. Here, listen to it. Jumped. What does it say there? Good. T, 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 like the Tom Tuttle's timer. Very good. Sometimes that ed will say d, d, like Danny the dinosaur. And then sometimes you'll actually hear both of them. You'll hear it say, you got it, ed, ed. So that ed can say d, ed, or t. Very good. Remember, we talked about that. All three of those sounds it says at the end. Here it says t. So the word is what? Jumped. Jumped. You got it. All right, next one. Sound. U blank E. Sound. U. Blend and hold. Mew. Sound. O. Blend. Mule. Say it fast. Mule. Very good. Okay. Next one. AR says what? R. Sound. G. All right. Blend. Arg. And I'm going to have the UE at the end. Argue. Put it together. Argue. What's the word? Argue. Very good. Okay. Next one. Sound. EW now says you. Blend. Pew. Say it fast. Pew. Now what is pew? It's not the pew like pew-wee, something stinks. It's a pew like when you go to church and you sit on a bench. Those benches are called pew. Pews. A pew is like a bench, a church bench. All right, let's say them together. Ready? Go. Lucky, jumped, mule, argue, pew. Now let's look at those spelling patterns. What do we see? Short vowel U. Short vowel U. What do we see in mule? U blank E. Very good. Comes at the end. And what about argue? Blank UE at the end. And what about pew? Blank EW at the end. Very good. All right. Remember those special spelling patterns. Let's look at a sentence now and see if we can identify some of those short U and long U spellings. All right, here's one of those word wall words. Important word, there. Another word wall word, are. Another word wall word, I told you they're important. Very good. Next one. Few. Next word, kids. Another word wall word, that. Where. All right, let's try it. uniforms, uniforms, uniforms. Another word, word. 2. School. Very good. Let's say it together. There are a few kids that wear uniforms to school. What kind of sentence is that? A telling sentence. I'm just telling you that. So what do I need at the end? A period. Very good. Period at the end. What kind of sentence is that called? A declarative sentence. Declarative means I'm just telling you something. I'm just making a statement. Very good. Can we find some of those short U or long U words? All right, few. Very good. What's the spelling? Blank EW at the end. Another one? Uniforms. What's the spelling? Just you. Remember? Just you can come beginning, middle, or end. Here it comes at the beginning. Any more? That's it. Just those two have the spelling patterns for this week. Very good. Continue to practice those spellings over and over so that you know these spelling words. When I call you on Wednesday to video chat with you, you can tell me those words. All right, looking at our vocabulary, we have, let's review the 5 again. Figure. Figure is a special person, somebody that's important or special. We consider them a figure. Next one, archives. Archives are used to store important things. Next one is vault, a room where valuable things are kept. Normally we will see one of these at a bank. Next one, equality. Equality. I see a part of a word right there. What's that word? Equal. Okay, and I know what equal means. Everyone has the same rights. Same and equal. Same, equal. Equal rights, same rights, that's equality. Next one, memorial. Memorial is a way to remember important people or events. When you have a memorial for anybody, you are remembering those people or maybe an important event. All right, so we are going to read the last part of our story and talk about the last few of those vocabulary words. We were reading the story, Our Trip to Washington, D.C., and we said that it is a realistic fiction story. Do you remember what realistic fiction is? All right, I know what fiction is. What is fiction? It's fake. It's not real. It's make-believe. Very good. And a realistic fiction, however, is a fake story. It's not real, but the people, the places, and the events in the story could be real. So realistic fiction didn't really happen, but it could have happened. So we're going to start where we left off on. We're now going to read pages 86 through 91. 86 through 91, and you have 4 questions here. The first one is, archives are blank, and we'll find the page number for that, so holler stop when you hear it. A vault is a blank. Holler stop when you hear that. What is the name of the place where important papers like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are kept? So think about that when you hear it. The place where they're kept. Holler stop. And what is the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? Holler stop when you hear the difference, and we'll write the page number for that. So that is it for this week. We're finishing up this story and the study guide questions as well. So when you finish listening to me read this story, get out your study guide questions and answer them. Or you can take it out right now as we do it if you want to. All right, so we left off on page, it says 86 is where we start. So 86, here we go. We saw the National Archives as well. Yep, I heard it too. Archives, there it is. National Archives. They saw the National Archives as well. And that is, it's a place that's used to store important things. Do you remember what we saw there? Dad asked. That is where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are displayed, Parker said. They sit behind thick green glass, Haley added. So I heard that. Archives, I heard that. That was on page 86. Used to store important things. And then, what is the name of the place where important papers like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are kept? We saw the National Archives as well. National Archives is the place where they are kept, and that is on page 86 as well. That's right, said Mom. The thick glass protects those important papers. Those papers are more than 200 years old. That's a lot of wear and tear on those papers. So that's why they protect them, to keep them safe so that they don't get damaged or destroyed because they're so old. The papers are lowered into a vault every night. I heard it too, to keep them safe too, said Parker. Vault, a room where valuable things are kept. Valuable things. So would the Declaration of Independence, would that and the Constitution, would those be important papers? Yes, very important papers, okay? And we're going to talk about those in just a second of why they're so important. So they lower them into a vault, a place or a room where valuable things are kept on page 87 to keep them safe every single night because they are so important. The Declaration of Independence said the United States was its own country, Haley said. So the Declaration of Independence, all right, that is one thing. That was one of those questions. What is the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? So the Declaration of Independence was where it said that United States would be free and be its own country. And that was written on July 4th, 1776, and that's why we celebrate it today for the 4th of July, because that's when America became free. So the Declaration of Independence said the United States was its own country. And the Constitution explains how our country will be run, Mom added. So, for number 4, what is the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? The Declaration of Independence said the United States was its own country, and then the Constitution explains how our country will be run. It has all of the rules and the laws for our land. Those are on page 88. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, and our early leaders signed it on July 4th, 1776, explained Dad. So that is why the 4th of July is our country's birthday, said Parker. That's why every year on the 4th of July we celebrate, because we're celebrating our country's freedom or independence. Our trip to Washington, D.C. was so interesting, Haley said. I want to see other important symbols of the United States, said Parker. Haley added, like the Statue of Liberty. We should plan another family trip sometime soon, Dad said. Looks like I'll need another scrapbook, Mom smiled. So here you can look and see the setting of the story. The setting is what again? Where and when the story takes place. So if you look at the picture here, you can see that the setting, where is it taking place? In their living room. They're sitting on the couch. She's bringing the scrapbook, okay? They are in the living room. However, there was another setting to the story. They were talking and looking at pictures about all the different places that they visited on their trip to Washington, D.C. So you could also say that the setting is Washington, D.C. and all the places that they went there. Plot. Let's talk about plot again. Plot is how that story evolves. So you talk about the beginning and what happened at the beginning, what happened in the middle, and what happened at the end. And we talked about what happened at the beginning. And the beginning was where what? They were looking through the scrapbook about their trip to Washington, D.C. And then the middle of the story, what were they doing? They were talking about all the different places that they went in Washington, D.C. And then at the very end, the plot was that they were actually going to do what real soon? Plan another trip somewhere sometime soon. And looks like Mom said, I'll need another scrapbook. Very good. So you are going to stop here and answer your questions for your student anthology on your study guide questions. I have an AR story before I finish, and it is called How Full is Your Bucket? It is quiz number 162939. I'm going to put that right here. 162939. If you have not taken the other two, go ahead and take those too. Go back and listen to those. 61681 will soon grow into them. You'll soon grow into them, Titch. And 49248, A Color of His Own. So today we're going to read this story, and it's called How Full is Your Bucket? It's a 2.4 level, and when you take the test, you can get 0.5 points. Every time I read this story, I always think of a very special lady. I always think of one of my former assistant principals, Miss Bonnie Lindsay at Kate Smith. What an amazing person, amazing leader she was, and still is. I miss her so much. I think of you, Miss Lindsay, every single time I read this story. You always come to my mind. This is a great story. I love it, and I appreciate you for introducing it to me. It has a lot of good lessons to be learned, and I like to use this with my students. It is written by Tom Rath and Mary Reckmeyer. What did they do? They wrote the story. They are called the authors. They actually co-wrote the story, okay? So they're co-authors. When you have two authors, you have co-authors. It is illustrated by Maury J. Manning. What did she do? She drew the picture. She is called the illustrator, okay? Felix was putting one of the last blocks on his tower when his little sister came in. I want to build with you, she said. Felix scowled. Go away. You're too little. Is that very nice? No, it wasn't. She just wanted to play. I'm big. Stay back. You'll knock it over. I can be very careful. Go play with your baby toys, Anna. If you look, she drew a picture of Felix. Not a very nice one. She was sad. That hurt her feelings. And you know what she did? She went and kicked the tower over. Grandpa! Grandpa shook his head. Felix, you just dipped from your sister's bucket. Like everyone else, Anna has an invisible bucket. When it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. Didn't you ever notice your own bucket? Invisible bucket? Sometimes Felix couldn't quite tell when his grandfather was joking. So after Felix wouldn't let Anna play with his toys, and she knocked over the tower, and he called Grandpa, what did Grandpa say that Felix did? He dipped from Anna's bucket. Yes. The next page. But the next morning, when Felix woke up, there it was, a small gray bucket floating above his head. Can you see it? It's not full, is it? No. Let's see what happens throughout the day. When Felix came down to have breakfast, his mom was in a hurry. I've got a meeting this morning, and it's almost time to go. Anna, sit still. Oh no. Look at this. Looks like something bad's fixing to happen to Felix. Felix slipped, and Choco Wheats scattered across the floor. Felix, yelled his mom, you should have used the stool to reach that. Felix could feel his bucket tip, and big, invisible drips spill out. Drip, drip. Ha ha, Anna laughed as she crunched the cereal with her shoe. Drip. Get the broom and clean that up before you miss the bus, scolded Mom. With the school bus honking, Felix quickly swept up the Choco Wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. So what had happened whenever he lost some of the drips in his bucket? He had slipped and fell, and all the Choco Wheat cereal went all over the floor, and he made a big mess. So he felt the drips coming out. But before he could even take one bite, Buster, the dog, jumped up and grabbed the muffin from his hand. Drip. Hey, look at Felix's new backpack. My baby brother has one just like it. Drip. Psst, Felix. Psst, psst, Felix. Drip. Watch out, Shrimp. Drip. What's happening to Felix's bucket? Is it getting full or empty? Empty. Because bad things are happening and Felix is getting sad and upset. So things are, the drips are coming out of his invisible bucket. It was still morning and Felix's bucket felt almost empty. Look at it. It's almost empty there. As he watched his classmates walk into the room, he secretly hoped they would trip and fall. That's what it feels like when you have an empty bucket. Look at him. His bucket's almost empty, and he looks so upset and mad and angry at the world. And what does it say that he secretly hopes? That his friends would trip and fall. Should we be that way? No. But that's what happens when you have an empty bucket. There's no happiness there. Felix slumped into his seat and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel walked slowly up to his desk and handed him a paper. He could hardly bear to look. Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Would you please share it with the class? Felix grinned and felt a big drop land right in his bucket. Drop, plop, plink, drop. The class grew quiet. They laughed at all the right places and oohed at the scary parts. When Felix finally read the end, everyone clapped, even Emily, who sat next to him and didn't usually like dinosaurs. Felix felt a whole shower of drops land in his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad after all. Drop, drop, drop. Look, he made an A+. And now, look at his bucket starting to fill up. And look at his face. He's so happy. Team captains today are Veronica and Felix. Drop. He got an I love you signed mom in his lunchbox. Drop. Nice cow.